Well, I think it's time, ZP.
It is.
Are you ready? Are you ready for San Francisco Shock versus the Vancouver Titans?
You know what? I just got to have a time machine from 2019. I am ready. Let's get this rematch on the road.
That's right.
Yeah, let's go.
2019 finals rematch. It's going to be epic, of course. Well, you know, then we go to 2020, and like Zoe and the rest of the desk mentioned, it was one of the fastest. No, it was actually the fastest match in Overwatch League history. Vancouver obviously been struggling a little bit. 0-2 in the June Joust. San Francisco 2-0. So kind of polar opposites there. And San Francisco also looking to prove that they're still the dominant team in the league. Dallas won the melee. I think San Francisco wants this one, though.
Yeah, they do. And that just makes things so tough for Vancouver. They've been struggling. As mentioned by the desk, they've had an incredibly tough schedule. It's like, ooh, what's next on the list? The San Francisco Shock Revenge Tour. Great. This'll end up well done.
The Revenge Tour. Wow, I don't think there's been one of those since like Blackbeard sailed the seas in, I don't know, whenever that was, like the 1800s. Who knows? Monty will probably tweet at me. Anyway, there's the San Francisco Shock roster: Striker, Neo, Smurf, Choyobin, Violet, and FD God. This is, they are forced to be reckoned with, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is a roster that's incredibly solid. People saw them as being on the top at the beginning of the season. Yeah, they've had some struggles this year, but does anyone look at this roster and go, oh yeah, I'm real happy to play against these guys? No, it's still incredibly strong, and whatever meta they get put in Doha, you can expect them to perform, and as I said, it's probably a rough go here for Vancouver today, but we'll see what they got.
Yeah, I mean, and this is kind of cool for us, too, because we're usually casting the APAC region lately, you know, so we're getting to cast some of these great San Francisco players, and we get to cast some of these Titan players as well. There they are: Teru, Dalton, Changsik, Fried Wiener, whatever his name is. I don't even know. He changed it like 5 times. But Rolf, and then Fire, of course, at the end. And this is a team that has struggled, no doubt about it. But, you know, if you're a Vancouver fan, you can say what a lot of people say in a lot of other sports about their teams that are doing poorly. Just tell everyone it's a rebuilding year, right? It's a rebuilding year. We're developing this talent into a force to be reckoned with later on down the line this year. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy the games. Enjoy the individual performances. It should be good.
Yeah, and if all fails, enjoy the breadsticks, which is
might
be on people's minds the most right now. So look to those supports. See if there's a boop.
Indeed. Well, it's going to be an exciting one. We're going to start things off on Lijiang Tower. As you can see, Hanamura, Hollywood, Junkertown, Oasis. We'll see how far we get into that. A lot of people predicting this to be a 3-0, and understandably so, given the power relatively between these two teams. But, you know, the thing is, ZP, the meta's in a little bit of an interesting place right now. We've got this, like, Neo-Goats comps that everyone's talking about. Although I say Goats and I feel a little bit physically ill. I get a little bit worried, you know, when that name starts to come out. But, you know, we also did see the Gladiators have a pretty decent answer to that in the last series. So maybe Vancouver has something special up their sleeves as well. I don't know. The only way to find out is to see the games.
Maybe there's a Torb on deck, you never know. But just to sort of explain that, because some people at home going, why are you guys calling it Neo Goats? That doesn't make any sense. And, you know, no, there's no Ryan, there's no Zarya, but it's about the feel, Doha, that you get in game, where it's like, if you want an experience meta-wise, where there's a lot of sustain, teams are living for a long time, you're seeing 10 ultimates, you know, you're seeing divas drop down bombs like it's some sort of air campaign in a traditional war. Well, let me tell you, this meta has it all.
Yeah, I mean, it does get insane. I was watching one of the matches from the other day, and there was like 4 Diva ultimates in one fight, and then you've got the Moira beams like flying all over the place. I'm like, all right, okay, so that's just how this is going to be for a while. Well, good luck, everyone. But it is action-packed. Yeah, it is action-packed for sure. Yeah.
Well, you take a look at what the Shock are running. They are not really deviating whatsoever. They want to practice how they intend to play against everyone, not just Vancouver. Whereas Vancouver, they're going off the beaten path a little bit. Going to be running with the Mei and the Orisa. And Mei, always good on the stage, though, regardless of meta.
Yep, that is correct. And I mean, Mei, especially on this point in particular on Lijiang Tower, you've got the walls that make such a big difference, right? In a lot of these narrower corridors, the point itself can be covered very effectively with the Blizzard too. So you can see Vancouver already, you know, not quite willing to embrace the quote-unquote new meta yet.
And the problem with this is that the Shock win any straight-up fight, right? They will win a long, sustained fight, and now they're moving in. They're taking the fight to Vancouver, and they just want to really leverage the sustained advantage that they have right now. Vancouver backing out a bit, but the Shock already in control of the point, Doha. So, you know, the Shock, they can stay in this mode for a while. Violet under pressure right now. Violet getting very, very low, but able to snake away from the pressure. 85% to Cole, and everything going to plan right now for the Shock.
Yeah, pretty much. And, you know, again, kind of as people would expect it, but here comes Rolf. Go ahead and popping the Coalescence, going after FD. We'll see if he can finish him off. Not quite able to do it. Dalton does go down on the Vancouver side, though, so things looking a little bit rough here for the Titans already. Maybe Nero can keep it going here for San Francisco. Yeah, looks like GP San Francisco FD got back with a vengeance, get the double kill on the Lucio. They're not moving off the point anytime soon.
No, and the one thing you really have to look at, too, for this meta is that anytime you lose a player early, like it was Dalton that went down, it's really difficult to take a fight back against such a sustained-heavy team like the Shock at the meta they're running. It's really hard when you're down a player, so you can't give up the first pick, or, you know, if you do give up first pick, you need to capitalize super soon. Otherwise, it's just not going to be your fight.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, Terra, meanwhile, got the Blizzard loaded up. Maybe a chance here. Done as a wall, and they're kind of just hanging behind it. Now they move in, a little bit of time. They've got fire with the Lucio ult as well, so they've got the tools. Can they jump onto San Francisco? If D-God drops the sound barrier first, San Francisco, well, able to just kind of circumvent the Blizzard in a big way. They're just like, all right, we're just not going in there. Oh my goodness, Shoyobin, self-destruct, doesn't get anyone, but Nero and Smurf do find a couple on the side of the fight. Nero gets two, in fact, and ZP, I don't know, it's going to be tough for Vancouver to flip this point at this point.
Well, and the biggest problem is just what's going on in the neutral game, where you take a look at Shock. Do you see their life bars going down at all, Doa? No, it's not really happening. The Shock are generally healthy throughout this entire time. Vancouver hasn't been able to isolate 8 targets, and even the Blizzard, which could have been a silver lining, didn't catch anyone. So now it's at 98%. Final opportunity for Vancouver to go in. They're going to open up with the Cole. They get Violet early. That's a really good start, Doa, with 3 first pickoffs. It'll let Vancouver at least get some points on this round.
All right, so I spoke too soon. They do flip it at 99%, able to just barely come in and force San Francisco off the point. But if you look at the ultimates out there, Fried's got the Diva ultimate loaded up, but San Francisco has a couple of their own, and they've got all the time in the world, if they want even, to just poke a bit and build up a couple too. But I've got a feeling they're not going to wait too long. I mean, they can just sort of bull rush their way in here with the 2 DPS ultimates, depending on what Nero decides to copy. Striker trying to get in position here.
They have such a big progress advantage. What you're going to see from the Shock, they're more than willing to just start this fight, go for multiple attempts, and it shouldn't take too long for it to go through. Striker going to the back, Death Blossom looking for it, gets Dalton. 2 quick ones for Striker, make it 3. That's going to seal the round.
Yep, it's kind of like what we were talking about, ZP. San Francisco wasting no time coming back in and reclaiming this. Terry with the last to drop for Vancouver. Fire on the side of the fight there, but it looks like that will be it. The point is flipped. The overtime bar ticking away. Celebration, Coalescence from Violet. It's Disco Fever. And, all right, a little bit of a delay from Chongshik. They're trying their best. Terror in there with the Doom Fist, but I don't think this is going to result in much in the end. They are merely delaying the inevitable. They've got the Diva back in, so they're doing a good job of staggering onto the point to keep it going at least. But Smurf has had enough. He is raging his way to victory in this round, and that is it. Objective secured, and San Francisco Shock put a point on the board.
Honestly, though, it was just the sad death march there we saw. It's just like, yes, we got to go for the points, one by one, staggered. And, some of the times you have a situation where a team can come back from, but that just was not one of those times. That was we delay because we have to delay, not because there's a whole lot of real chance of bringing it back. So that's round 1, and we got here for IBM replay. This is FD God. Finish off the fight in some style.
Yeah, pretty much. FD God, I mean, you gotta love the bloodthirsty supports at the end of the day. And Lucio, even if he can't get environmental kills, you can still get in there and get some something going with the Sound Blaster. Some of the melee once in a while.
Yep, definitely so. And FD God, more than the other Lucios in the league, definitely willing to get his hands dirty. But Doa, we're heading into the next round. It is a mirror matchup. This time around, no May, no Orisa. Vancouver submitting to the meta, as it were. But it's gonna be the Shock first on point.
Yep, that's right. They'll get there a little bit quicker. And they'll be able to take that defensive stance, and already the Vancouver Titans on the outside looking in. Just trying to look at the ult percentages here. Teru is a little bit ahead on the Echo, so maybe a chance there, but I don't think that's really going to follow through. Yeah, they finally force their way on. San Francisco playing this one a little bit on the safer side, and maybe I spoke too soon. As Striker goes down, gets Mario stomped by Chongsik, and possibly Vancouver might be able to get some percent going early. Yeah, looks like they will.
Yeah, I mean, Shock's being smart about this. Shock didn't stay around and go, let's try and fight this 5v6. It's not something you can really do in this meta without a huge amount of ults on hand. Shock just go, all right, we're going to back out, and Vancouver doesn't chase it down. And the upside, the Shock get to go right back in. Moira opening up with the cold, narrow, immediately off the duplicate. Double Diva on the field, FD God orient the beat. It's an ult advantage for Shock to kick things off with fire. Builds up beat mid-fight. Vancouver starting to bring it back. Narrow though, catches Roof on the self-destruct, that's massive. The healing for Vancouver, it's not gonna be there, Doa, and the Shock can just slowly clean this up.
Yeah, that said, though, we've still got a couple Vancouver players on the point right now, so maybe they can just barely hold on. I don't know. It's going to be a little bit tough. Oh, Smurf sends fire flying off the edge of the map with that Primal Rage, and Striker back with a vengeance from that earlier death. And yeah, it looks like Vancouver tried. They got a couple extra % out of it. They still haven't given it over, but now it's going to get flipped. And now San Francisco, after a little bit more of a tussle, is going to be able to get some % going. Look at this, 52, 53%. Vancouver getting a pretty good first hold there, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad start at all. I mean, and the one thing about this meta is that regardless of what team is dominant going in, because of how good a first pick advantage can be here, you know, all it takes is that moment where you catch Striker off guard, get the 6v5, and the other team just has to go, okay, you know, it's yours, we're backing out, especially when no ults are in play. So, you know, Vancouver is a team that still can benefit from this to a degree, but they have to string it together. And as I say, that Death Blossom in early from Striker, Vancouver's so low from that Doa, and now the domino is about to fall.
Yeah, Nero picks one up against his alter ego on the other side. Teru, Nero gets 2, in fact, and yeah, San Francisco just chasing Vancouver right off the point and all the way back to spawn. So this might be a little bit of a devastating hold here for San Francisco because they've still got ults to spare. They've still got that Coalescence. They've still got Nero's ultimate in a moment, and Shoyobin sells the self-destruct. So they're in a great place to not only, you know, hold this, but possibly hold it all the way to the end of the round. We'll see, though, as Vancouver does have a couple things coming online fairly soon. With this
Are you ready for Cole v. Cole? The special of this meta?
I've always been ready. Yep,
it's
that's right.
laser
Let's get the
beam versus
Dragon Ball
laser
Z
beam.
fight going.
Exactly.
Kamehameha, Violet. Yep.
That's what we
That's sound barrier, though.
Both teams trading out. Sound barrier out from both ends. Shock still pretty healthy. Death Blossom going out. Narrow with the bomb. Catches Teru on the other end. And again, look at Vancouver. Everyone's super low. This is going to be clean up for the Shock. And Vancouver, Doa, down to one final attempt to bring back map 1.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little while till they can even make that attempt because there's still these cleanup kills coming in at the end from San Francisco. So the more they can kind of spread that out and sort of get some delayed kills at the end of the fight on the chase, the more they can build towards that 99%. And they're going to be most of the way there. Like you said, just one last chance. A couple ultimates available for Vancouver. They got to group up. They got to make it happen right now. San Francisco taking a more aggressive stance on the defense here, though, ZP.
Number 1, Vancouver has to touch a point. And there it is. Fried just bounces on over. But as a result, not in the middle of the fight as this is going on. Vancouver has to be worried about the point the entire time. They duplicate the Diva. Teru and Fried, both double Diva. Teru going to get demeched early. Shock still very, very healthy here, Doa. Rolf dropping the Cole, but I think this Cole's a little bit late here. The Shock have already got a big advantage. Bomb from Choi up over the top. Not going to blow anyone up here just yet, but Vancouver fighting a losing battle. Narrow takes down Chongzik, and that might be the beginning of the end.
Could be, yeah, without the tank. Striker doesn't get anyone, but FT God, meanwhile, picking up a Bloodthirsty support kill anyway. Dalton, just get one over onto Violet. Maybe the self-destruct, grab something? No, not quite. San Francisco either way. Recapturing, having no problems at all with that. And can they win the fight, though? Oh, Vancouver. All right, coming back. This isn't over yet, CP.
They were able to swap it back over, and now for the Shock, they actually don't have that much time to bring it back. 15% left to go. This is where, similar to how Fried had to sort of take himself out of the fight to the beginning, someone from the Shock's going to have to do that as this kicks off. And now, 93%, who's it going to be?
Well, we'll see. Vancouver Titans in a position to put a point on the board. San Francisco comes in with the sound barrier. They drop it. Vancouver, fire.
Oh, no,
fire! He gets pooped off by Smurf before he gets to use the ultimate. That is devastating for Vancouver. Oh, not like this, ZP. Not like this.
He dropped the beats down on the street, Doa, but not where it needed to be. Absolute disaster.
You'd think someone named Smurf would like blue people, but no, that's not the case, as the blue team Vancouver is basically all sent off the edge, and that is a pretty rough ending to that map. Oh, man. ZP, you got to feel for Vancouver a little bit because they had the positioning to maybe win that fight, maybe keep the map going, but clutch play from Smurf. You can see a bit of laughter on the side of San Francisco, but pretty sullen faces on the side of the Titans after that one.
Oh, yeah, because they had that round. I think that round was very winnable towards the end. They had the miracle comeback towards the end, and it's just the worst feeling in the world as a support where, bear in mind, Lucios are getting targeted a lot in this meta, so people are going, it's the Lucio low-light meta. It's like, well, when you're the most killable person on the team, it's going to happen, and unfortunately for Fire, before he can drop the beat, Smurf just throws him off the stage and kind of seals the deal, Noah.
Yep, that's right. So on that note, let's give the Titans a moment to regroup as we take a quick break. But when we come back, the Overwatch League continues. Don't go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Treadlock now into the backline and gets with the both support.
Up over the top, gets a double!
And here's a coalescence from the high ground for Wolf, but wow, the timing on that one looks so good.
Really.
Fire gets two! That is crazy! time, and a great stick from Dal. That's 3 from him.
That's crazy. They make it work.
We are back here at the June Joust qualifiers presented by Xfinity. Doa and ZP with you as we saw San Francisco take a short but sweet map against the Vancouver Titans, and it was kind of crazy at the end, wasn't it, ZP? Smurf really coming through, being kind of the hero at the end, preventing Fire from being able to use his Lucio ultimate, and that's why we are going to check out him for our player resume presented by Indeed. Smurf has been pretty awesome, hasn't he?
Yeah, Smurf has been great the entire time he's been in Overwatch, a standout main tank going all the way back to his Contenders tenure back in 2018. Of course, used to be on the Houston Outlaws Academy team, got traded over to the Shock, and that's basically been history, where the Outlaws got Dante, so they didn't come out too bad in the exchange. But Smurf has been great and probably feels very at home right now in this meta where, sure, people say it's GOATS-esque, but you get to play Winston, and Smurf is one of the best Winstons the game has ever seen, a 2-time champion, and I mean, right now, he's just absolute best place he could be as far as the meta is concerned. So it's a great time to be Smurf.
I would agree. That's right. Gargamel nowhere in sight, safe for Smurfs, and it's time to jump into our next map. It's gonna be our assault map. It's gonna be Hanamura, and we'll see if Vancouver can come back a little bit, because there were sparks of hope there, I think, ZP, where I feel like really at the end of that last round, if it wasn't for that hero play from Smurf, Vancouver may have had a chance to put a point up on the board and maybe keep the map going. And a lot of people are expecting this to be a quick 3-0, and that still may be the case, but Vancouver certainly trying their hearts out here.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they should, because especially in this meta where right now, do I think the better team is going to win overall? Yes. However, I do think this is a meta that's a little bit more variable, where things like the first pick matter so much do give teams like Vancouver, a team that might not match up against a Shock as well in other situations, more of a lifeline. And we'll see how well they can leverage that. But as we say all that, you look to Hanamura, and there's a bit of a change-up in what's being played here. Instead, it's the Orisa comp we've been seeing from different teams, where it's going to be Chonsik over onto the Orisa, Dalton on the McCree, and the Shock, who knows? The gates haven't opened. You can't judge anything just yet.
Yep, doing a little bit of swapping here and there. We have seen a little bit of Roadhog. We saw Smurf hovering that for a second. Without Zenyatta in the meta, Roadhog's stock certainly goes up a bit, but it is going to be the Winston in the end. But maybe a couple shots from Nero. Yeah, just looking for somebody in the window, and he's not going to find it, so back over to the Echo. So it will be the comp we know from San Francisco. Vancouver, though, swapping things up a little bit. Has different tanks. You've got the McCree in there, and Rolf on the Batiste as well. See what they can do with it.
As we were talking about during the break, this puts so much pressure on your McCree, in this case, Dalton. Dalton is the storyline here. Can Dalton do enough damage to the Shock before the sustain of the composition the Shock is running just runs over Vancouver? And there is a timeline to this. It needs to happen sooner rather than later, because you look at the Shock, Doa, they're just going to bully on in, already onto the point, already starting to push the Shock out, or already starting to push the Titans out, and it's a real problem for the Titans as Dalton, under pressure, nearly goes down.
Nero, though, overstaying his welcome on the point, and now Vancouver's starting to turn this one around. Dalton, you talked about the pressure being on him, but he's delivering. D-Mex Choyobin, and it looks like San Francisco will have to go back to the drawing board for now. So they did manage to get one tick, though. So in the end, for a first push, that's a lot of success, I would say. You've gotten the ultimates. Like you said, you're just trying to bully your way in there. You come out of that with a tick, I think you're going to be pretty happy if you're San Francisco right now.
On the same note, if you're Vancouver, you're pretty happy with Rolf. It was the really well-timed immortality field to keep Dalton alive that made that turnaround possible. The Shock, they saw blood in the water. They went to go finish it. Dalton was able to shake it because of the immortality field. But here we go again. The Shock, this time way more aggro because the coal is up.
Oh my
Bringing
goodness.
the fight to Vancouver, and they're just crushed, Doa. The tank's nowhere to go.
No, Vancouver, you don't back into a little corridor when somebody's coalescing your entire team. No. Oh, Violet does go down. Dalton does get 2 in the end, but he's going to have to be a one-man army along with Terror. Okay, a two-man army, I suppose, as they try to retake the point here. Choyobin nearly gets remeched back to the Echo. Okay, they do get their D-Mech onto Choyobin, so maybe they can hold this a bit longer. I don't know. Not going to happen.
There was one good part for that, though, at the very least, is that the Shock were a little bit sloppy in how they finished that out, and as a result, Smurf has to use his Primal. He didn't want to use Primal there, but they had to be sure because they lost way too many people at the end, so minor victory for Vancouver, but still a bit behind the time here. 5 minutes is a lot for the Shock as they go for B.
Sure is. And Vancouver Titans, when it comes down to it, they've got a couple ultimates to use here defensively. That's going to be really what we're going to be looking at, how Chongsik, Fried, Rolf, and Fire able to use those to sustain. And the best way to do that is to use as few as possible, honestly. They've got this high ground here. We'll see how aggressive San Francisco wants to be, but they have certainly been the aggro team so far in this matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you want to do when you're playing this composition. You win off sustain, you win by taking the fight to the other team. Vancouver, of course, swap things up just a bit. The fight taking place.
Pretty good
up
grab.
on top. Flux on the way down. Shotgun low. Striker out of the fight immediately.
All right.
And that's going to be enough.
It will be, and they use everything except for the drums. So they've still got that Orisa ultimate at least. Had to end up using both defensive ultimates, the window and the rally. But overall, they prevented Shock from getting anything, so that's probably arguably the best defense they've had on this map so far.
Yeah, and also, just as a side, look at Fried. I feel like his mustache just gets more majestic every time. Really growing that one out.
That's right. Soon it'll turn into 2 prehensile appendages, and it'll be able to press extra keys on his keyboard. I can't wait for that.
That's a competitive advantage. I'm all here for it, but the Shock Doa, they're heading in. Early Cole being used. Striker again! Just takes a rock to the grill. Immediately denied, and yeah, Cole's not going to be enough for that one, Doa, as Vancouver rejects the Shock up on top.
Yep. And Teru able to use the Winston ultimate via Echo to get a couple kills, force everybody out there. So again, denying even a tick from San Francisco's Shock. So a good start to the defense. And throughout that, Vancouver Titans building their ult percentage back. So Rolf and Fried able to have that online. What you're going to really need to worry about now if you're Vancouver is the fact that Shock is going to have access to a lot of their tools now, right? Where Smurf is going to be the one primal raging now. Striker's been very good at finding flanks with the Death Blossoms. And we'll see if he can make that happen here. Another window comes in from Rolf, though.
Window comes out. Shock doing their best to avoid the angle that's in there. Taro, though, gets narrow immediately. And out's on Striker, who's also had a rough go the last few fights, dying instantly. But this time gets Chongsik. A little bit better for Striker. Still has Death Blossom in reserve. Fried, though, coming in hot from the back. Dalton will take down Striker. With both DPS down, defender's advantage. Vancouver will again be thrown back to Shock.
You know, I gotta say, this is looking to be a pretty poised defense from Vancouver Titans. I mean, we had Dalton's view for a little bit during that last fight. Had the Death Blossom, decided to save it, even though he could have, easily gotten the kill on Smurf there. But if that's all you're getting, Smurf's always already half health. You just go ahead and hold it. So, yeah, Vancouver playing this defense out efficiently here. San
Vancouver
Francisco,
might just have enough
letting up.
power. Though they might have just enough power to ruin your pickups. Take that extra point away from you. They're not predicting the 3-1.
Yep. Hey, at least they're doing their best to prevent the speed run, right? Ooh, and here's Striker trying to come from behind here. Well, there's not going to fall for it, though. Waiting for people to jump down. He's really trying to get the flank with this. Nero does get the D-Mech onto Teru, rather. Self-destruct coming in. Die.
From all sides, it's a lot of spinning, but no one going down just yet. Smurf, though, again, awfully low. Doa has to jump up. A little bit of a reprieve. Still alive somehow. And Smurf is chased down. Dalton's able to find him. And Vancouver continues to hold on. Only a minute 20 left, Doa. And this could be a great start for Vancouver trying to take the map.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco in their last fight were able to take one tick. This time around, only pushing that dial just slightly farther. So not really able to get any progress going. And they're going to come into it another, fight here without really a ton of tools at their disposal. And as we move more into a GOATS-esque meta, ult management and ult usage and efficiency is going to be at a priority, right? That was one of the hallmarks of that meta. And so San Francisco, you really kind of need those tools to make it work. You're going to try to come up the stairs again. Here we go.
Fried opened it up with another rock. This time Striker still lives to tell the tale. Smurf, Primal Rage, gets rid of the Supercharger early. This Shock nearly through. They have to invest a lot for it, and Choi's going to get demeched. Choi wasn't able to get self-destruct up in time. In Vancouver, they're a little bit beaten right now, but they're healed all the way back up. Striker goes down again, and Vancouver just about have done it. Only 20 seconds left to Shock. Really don't have enough time for another full good attack.
Yeah. Nero gets one done to Teru, but, there's such fast respawns of the defense on Hanamura that's going to be mitigated really fast. Chongsik over to the ball just to make sure he's able to get back to the defense as well. But yeah, 5 seconds. I don't know. Can San Francisco even get back there in time? Okay, they do. They get Smurf there with the ball, but can they possibly cap this? It's going to be chaotic.
Yeah, this is the chaos fight where you throw her on the point at different times, hope it works out. Vancouver, they just have to remain poised. Already have the duplicated Diva on the field. Dalton goes for the Death Blossom, and that's a finisher, Doa. Takes down Striker and FD God, and your Pick'em's about to lose a point. If you printed 3-0 shock, well, maybe not just yet. There's still the attack, so we're going to hold on, but it's not looking good.
That's it. Wow. Vancouver Titans with a pretty awesome defense, I gotta say, on Hanamura. San Francisco Shock just kind of, butting their heads into the wall over and over again on that one. I don't know if it was maybe the cleanest attacks we ever seen from San Francisco, but credit to the Titans. They played it out efficiently. They had a good plan. They responded well to things like Striker trying to put some flanks into the mix. And, yeah, I gotta say, nicely done by the Titans.
Yeah, and again, I think that... Yep, that is a bucket. Verified, 100% bucket.
There it is.
Usable for anything, Dylan. Anything at all. Your imagination is the limit.
It's true. You can wear it on your head. Pretend you're Bastion.
I was going to say, pretend you're Batman. I was like, wow, Batman's R&D budget really got slashed in recent times.
That's true. You do need a little bit more armor for the face mask if you're Batman. The lower half of the face. I never really got that. Why wear all that body armor and then just leave your mouth and nose exposed?
Well, because he has a really strong jaw, obviously.
I guess.
It's the best explanation I got. But we're heading into it, Doa. Vancouver set themselves up to potentially rip a map away from the Shock here. All they have to do is get through point A and through 60% of point B. Very doable here on Hanamura. We'll see if the Shock, though, can put up an even better defense than what we just saw.
Yeah, it's still entirely possible for Shock to win this map. If they defend on point A, obviously they're able to just straight up do it. So we'll see. That is what's going to happen here as the Vancouver Titans are on the attack. Pretty standard stuff as both teams running the same comp. The comp we've seen a lot of lately.
Yep. And this is where both teams right now, you made a really good point, though, about ult economy being a big deal. Both teams right now, it's all the charged Cole. It's all, we're going to take some damage, we're going to heal some damage up. And between the two teams right now, the Shock are winning that fight. Violet, 75% to Rolf at 65. And this is where as soon as the Shock get Cole, they're going to go. At Vancouver, they want to commit now. They want to take the fight to the Shock. But the Cole is coming, even as Vancouver head over to the point.
Yeah, just dodge it, though. I mean, you can step back behind the wall. Oh, but they lose Teru, so Titans fighting that 5v6, make it a 4v6. As Striker grabs 2, comes in on the flank with that Reaper. Looks like the defense might do okay for the Shock this time, ZV.
Yep, then again, just slight advantage in ult economy do mean quite a bit here. Bible was able to get the call out a little bit earlier. And even with Vancouver heading to the point, the advantage of that slightly earlier call cannot be understated. And now you go to the next fight, the Shock in a much better situation for ult economy here early on, especially because Smurf can just open up with a primal.
Yeah, we'll see what Vancouver can make happen. It looks like there's going to be a lot of ultimates available across the board, depending on how fast Vancouver wants to come in, and they probably should approach it a little bit slower. They're so close to having a pretty good attack, but no, they're going aggressive. Wow, Terror onto the Diva immediately.
Moving in, beat out early from the Shock. Vancouver super low, but a well-timed beat from Fire. Now Chonsek uses the Primal. They push the other way. Teru in on the duplicated Diva. It's double Diva versus double Winston. Primal's out here for the Shock. It's all bouncing around, but the bombs are about to start coming as Vancouver pushes in. Fried still holding on to his. Smurf. Primal's down, under pressure, 300 HP. Death Blossom from Dalton off on the other side. Vancouver, they're muscling their way in here, but Chongsek is super low, so low right now. You look at his health, he's under pressure, trying to stay alive. He gets healed back up, Dalton punishes Smurf, and Vancouver about to take the point.
That shield cooldown for Chongsek came back at just the right time there. And now with the tanks out of commission for San Francisco, Vancouver looks like they're on track to take point A. And it didn't take him that long, honestly. Pretty good amount of time in the time bank. Oh, but one last contest.
Hang on, it's not over yet.
Eat a few more. Yep, Striker. Nothing out of that one. Violet, there's a beat. They're committing to this.
Yeah, they're committing. If they get one more elimination, it might be all they need. Yeah, Vancouver has attacker's advantage, but it's going away as Striker finds his rhythm. 98.4%.
We were both looking at the percent ZP. Like it's about as close as it gets, and you'd hate to see Vancouver lose another map with a heartbreaker close finish like that, because that was nearly point A taken. And if you get point A as Vancouver, you've got a good chance to win this map. So they just need a little bit more. Got to take that one last tick again.
Well, it's going to be Cole v. Cole to start things out. Rolf, a little bit of decision paralysis. Do I go for the Echo? Do I go for the ground? Goes back to ground. Beat invested by Fire. There is a significant beat advantage here for Vancouver because Shock had to use it to come back into the fight, but the beat's about faded here. Vancouver didn't get any eliminations. Narrow, under pressure, builds up the self-destruct just in time. Gonna make a little bit more space. Chungsik now, Primal Rage, good to go. Vancouver, final gasp here, 30 seconds left. They want to get point A, Doa. Point B, they don't have to go far, but they're struggling to get a elimination. Smurf on a whim, so low, Doa. Look at Smurf in the back, and he's still somehow alive.
HP. Nero gets one on Taro. Oh my gosh, San Francisco turning it around. FD God was able to build the beat once more, and here comes Striker, and here comes San Francisco, and there go the Titans' hopes at tying up this series. They're not even going to get back to the point again. I think maybe Chungsik can make it, but another heartbreaker ending here. Rolf touches on the Moira. They force the overtime. Oh boy, ZP.
They're looking for it. This is, again, the Women of Prayer. Chungsik, no HP spinning around. How long can that last? Well, gets another heal. Vancouver trying to make something out of nothing right now. Self-destruct from Taro. Can it hit anything? No, not quite. Choi, though, under pressure. About to get demeched. He's out of there. Vancouver's still at a full 6, even with Chungsik and Fried. Very, very low right now. Hanging in there. Fried, though, gonna get demeched. Both teams going back and forth. Vancouver's fully recovered at this point, Doa. And you look towards the ults. The beat comes in and fire.
Second one?
Keeps everyone alive. Vancouver, could they possibly stay alive here, Doa? It's closer than it should be. And Smurf goes down. There won't be a primal.
Striker. Striker comes in at the end, and there's another beat from FD God. That's going to seal the deal. Oh, it was so close. That's 2 maps in a row now, ZP, where Vancouver was so close to making something happen. You can see the agony on their faces, too. My heart is broken for the Titans, but hey, solid defense from the Shock. They got it done when it needed to get done, and they're 2-0 in the series so far.
On the bright side, your pick'ems are safe if you did a 3-0 Shock, at least for now.
For now.
They are still safe,
now.
despite how grim it might have looked. But yeah, I mean, that was about as back and forth as it gets there. And to me, the biggest mid-map story was that Striker on, for the Shock in the first round, Doa, really tough time, was getting picked off early constantly. Striker on the defense, the hero. Big play after big play, kept the Shock in it, and as a result, it's a 2-0.
You know, and that's what you expect from a former championship team, right? Like the San Francisco Shock. So you can have multiple people across the board able to come up with those hero plays and win it in the end. Smurf in game 1, Striker now in map number 2. We'll see if they're able to keep it going for the 3-0 as we take a quick break. And when we come back, can the Shock close it out? Don't go anywhere. Overwatch League returns in a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everybody. Guess what? A staggering 25,402 double points were awarded this last week and during the San Francisco Shock versus Dallas Fuel match. Did you guess that one right? Go to pick'em.overwatchleague.com to submit your picks for this week's matches. ZP, did you get that one right?
I actually did get that one right. A shocker, because usually the double point matches usually crush me. However, it's only offset by the fact that I didn't do a good job, Doa, of staying diligent, and I forgot to do pickups for one of the easiest match days ever recently. So really, it just gets me back up to even. I don't even gain anything off of that. Sad.
I admit I forgot a couple too down the line. Let's take a look at our power rankings, though, presented by IBM Watson. Here are our supports, and as you can see, San Francisco, with two of them in the top 10, Violet and FD God, certainly been making names for themselves, obviously for a while now in Overwatch. But I personally have been really impressed with FD God this series, ZP.
Yeah, FD God is great, and FD God, it's a support where you look at it and you go, wait a second. You're doing things on Lucio that I don't expect you to do on Lucio. You don't expect to see Lucio in the kill feed at points where he's at. I mean, of course, you're the greatest Lucio of all time, so I mean,
I demand
it's just a normal day for you.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I just demand action. There you go. Glister coming in for Striker, some subs for San Francisco, and then also we have Super subbing in for Smurf. So a bit of a change up in the DPS and the tank roles. Obviously, it looks like San Francisco feeling pretty comfortable against Vancouver here, but I don't know, ZP. I don't know if I'd be getting too comfortable against Vancouver, because those last two matches, sure, they went San Francisco's way, but Vancouver definitely made them work for it.
Yeah, they did. And I think one thing, Doa, here is you look at this, it could be all pre-planned, or it could be part of Krusty's crazy laboratory experiments. This is a recurring theme for the Shock, where the Shock go up in maps and they go, oh boy, it's time to experiment, to do some things. And maybe this is where Krusty goes, okay, we know Vancouver's playing a pretty respectable version of the meta right now. Maybe this is where we do some live match testing of something that's a little bit off meta, see if it works. Who knows what goes on over there. Krusty is oftentimes brilliant, also sometimes baffling. It's part of the San Francisco Shock experience.
That's right. Who knows what madness happens in Krusty's laboratory? There you go. There's your free promo, San Francisco. You can use that for the show. I won't even charge it.
Yeah,
you're
welcome. Pretty good. It really channeled that 90s cartoon villain vibe.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going for kind of a Mark Hamill Jokerish sort of thing there, but anyway, we're in Hollywood. We're in Hollywood, ZP. San Francisco Shock looking to close out this series with a 3-0, though. Vancouver on defense first. They'll see if maybe they can get a hard, firm hold and maybe, just maybe, get a map win up on the board here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's worth noting for Vancouver, they are swapping up a bit on the comp. They're not running out with the Lucio Moira, instead running BAP Mercy. And again, this is a composition that puts a lot of faith and a lot of pressure on Dalton to produce on the Ashe. And in fact, you look at what the Shock is running here, Doa, it's going to be Ashe v Ashe, so a bit of hit scan v hit scan action.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about Point A on Hollywood, there's certainly a lot of room for this. There's that kind of mid-range corridor to fire down that we saw a lot of Widowmakers take advantage of in the past, but Ashe has kind of taken over that in a lot of cases on this map. I like it. You also have the power of Bob on the point, both offensively and defensively. So, Dalton needs to be a little bit careful. Grab a health pack there, but you can't be too surprised seeing the Ashe here.
No, not at all. And Dalton right now still under pressure on both sides going, is it safe to leave the cafe? There's a storm warning outside. It's getting a little bit shocking. And
nope, not safe.
Oh, that's over. Before you can even finish whatever was going for there, it's done. It's done.
It is done. The payload's going to be unlocked. San Francisco is going to get it moving. When I gotta say, when Sigma crouches, it looks strange. It looks like he's kind of balancing on his toes, which seems difficult to do. But then again, he is defying gravity, so it's okay. Let's watch this 3K from Hero, though. All right, they just didn't expect him. Got these free shots coming in from behind, and then, yeah, the beam, getting the finish. Getting the right-click damage as well, on top of all that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of Echo coming in from a flanking position. It's just incredibly powerful. And, Echo can sort of play both roles. You can play with your team, you can go for flanks. Very versatile hero right now is a Shock. 5 minutes here for Point B. Super biting it immediately, going to get res back up. So just a little bit of a tempo edge for Vancouver, if anything else. And, this is where you really want to stop the offense, get to hold the gates, and they're looking for it here. Nice Flux sets up Teru. This is a good start for Vancouver.
Yeah, they get a little bit. Okay, they're getting a little bit more than a little bit now, so it looks like the defense is going to be able to hold for just a moment for the Vancouver Titans. San Francisco Shock back to the drawing board, but things are a little bit different here. Oh, Violet goes down. Aw, that's... Violet had to peek. He had to peek, didn't he? And he ate a right click. Luckily, FD got there with the res, but that's a little bit of a silly one. That said, San Francisco Shock, you know, really all they need to find is a pick from the Ashe, maybe another pick from the Nero, and then you can push ahead.
Yeah, that's what they're going to be looking for, but attacking the high ground here can be tricky with this composition. It is a fairly big edge to Vancouver. And now, Dalton going to open up here at the Bob. The fight on two fronts, heavy pressure going on the Choice. Super goes, okay, that's enough of that. Going to deal with the Bob. Shock
Bob
playing
on
it
the
cool
roof.
and collected. And now the Shock are just kind of pressuring Vancouver back. Ooh. Lister falls, and this is actually a good trade for Vancouver, but Nero catches Dalton, and this is where Nero's going to have more room, Doa, to just flank around unless Teru can find something immediately, and I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Teru did manage to get the kill onto FD God, but San Francisco, the rest of them coming back with a vengeance, and you do have that little tighter respawn point if you're the attackers and the payloads in this position. And now they've got the high ground, they've got the payload moving. It's maybe one more fight for Vancouver by the end of this point here. Let's see if they can make it happen.
Right now, just getting out here, defending on Hollywood could be a bit of a problem to begin with. Shock, a lot of positional advantages. Vancouver decides to go out, but this is still a fight you want to take. Dalton, though, eats a lot of damage just peeking out to begin with. Vancouver struggling to head out. And Choi now under pressure. Choi super low, gets taken down. It was Fried and Arisa, a rock and a halt, finishing him off to the side. And Vancouver off that tank pick, that gives them all the room they need to just push out Doa.
You never want to be between a rock and a halt place, that's for sure. Teru, meanwhile, I'm sorry, I'm here all weekend, everyone. Teru, meanwhile, up above, and they do get a little bit of a defensive position on this card as it pushes back. And as the attacker, you've got some corners to kind of maneuver around to get back to the payload. But, you know, now the defense is out of those narrow doors, right? So if Vancouver can hold this, they can pull some more time out of the time bank for Shock.
I mean, they've already pulled a lot out. I mean, think about it. Shock had a really good point A attack 5 minutes ago. Now it's down to 2.5. You know, it's not bad at all for Vancouver, given where they started from. Fried going for the flux. What's it going to get? Nero. Off the duplicate. Oh, Glister got 2 in the back. It doesn't really matter what the Flux is doing at this point. Glister landing every shot he needs. Nero drops a Flux of his own, and that should be point B here, Noah.
I mean, Nero had a pretty sick flank on this Sigma as well. Able to get a really nice combo onto Changsik, do a lot of damage there, and that pushes the payload through. So just damage from all sides coming in from Shock, and just no defense for that from the Titans. They're going to have to back away again. Oh no, and a little bit of staggered spawns means that both tanks aren't going to go down. This is a great start for the Shock push.
Yeah, 3 minutes left to go. They've gone through an area that often you can get stalled at a lot on the attack. And I mean, Vancouver, they don't have much of the tank. I mean, nothing gets better about the situation, Doa, unless Vancouver manages to make something out of nothing. And they're running out of time to do that.
They certainly are. A little less than 3 minutes in the time bank. Vancouver Titans has this last fairly defensible position on Hollywood to hold. You've got the choke the offense needs to go through, but it's going to be the drums dropping for Shock, getting that damage boost. Can they push it through to a victory, though? Window
comes down from Vancouver. Dalton's so low. You could breathe on Dalton. He'd fall over. Fried out of the fight. Vancouver now just trying to resettle, but the pressure from Shock unrelenting. Blister, though, gets caught by Teru. Fire getting the res on the Fried. This is still winnable now for Vancouver as Dalton picks off Nero on the other end. And the Shock were really far ahead, but you can't go that far deep, though. You still got to respect who's still up.
Yeah. I mean, Teru, I think, with a nice heads-up play on the Echo, copying the Arisa to get their own damage boost for the defense, and that was a big part of being able to push what was left of the San Francisco Shock team back. That's kind of the neat thing with Echo, is that you just have your pick of ultimates that best fit the situation. It's a smorgasbord of ults, if you will. And Teru making a good choice there, I think.
Yeah, I also like how Echoes have just leveled up over time, where the quality of Echo Primals have increased dramatically. No! A nice twofer from Dalton. That was sick. Finds FD God, and that's one person you can't res, Noah.
Yeah. Dalton, not a bookseller, he's a death dealer in this match.
Yeah, I got that.
Somebody
reference.
out there is going to get that. Somebody.
They don't even exist anymore. They went out of business.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that store does. No. Well, Vancouver. All right. Fried comes in. The grab. And it's looking okay so far. Yep. San Francisco, like you said, ZP, they are starting to run out of time in a big way. 1 minute remaining to try to put something together. They aren't going to have the Echo ultimate. They will have Choice. And they always have that pick potential, but you'd really want something like a Bob here. You've got the window from Violet, maybe. But it's looking a little bit rough, isn't it?
It is. I mean, again, I'd kind of look to the DPS here, both the Ashe and the Echo, but especially with the Ashe here, this is where Glister or Dalton, could really seal the deal for their teams. If Glister gets one early pick off, the Shock can just roll in. If Dalton gets an early pick off, it's going to be critically hard for the Shock to push. So the Ashe battle here, super impressive, even as the tanks maneuver to make a bit of space. Window, going to come down early with the Flux. Shock trying to set the stage. Chonsik immediately down, and that was so well done by the tanks of the Shock.
I mean, yeah, and this is, again, just what you love about the San Francisco Shock is that whatever tools they have at their disposal, they are going to use them to the utmost. The tanks coming through again, and that is a round win. 18 seconds left in the time bank, but they get the job done.
The ults came up just in time, and it was a quick committal by the Shock that could have ended badly, but they saw the opportunity. It was there, and they finish it through. But on the same note, though, if you're Vancouver, you're kind of wiping your brow a bit here going, oh, okay, well, it could have been worse for how quick point A was at points.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but at the same time, you have this situation where it's really tough if your opponent does complete Hollywood. It is one of those maps that's a little bit tougher to get done on the attack. So if it gets done at all, you're going to be a little bit nervous, and I think that's where Vancouver's at right now. But this is that moment where a team really has an opportunity for development, I think. This is a real growth opportunity for a team like Vancouver, right? Where if you can sort of keep that mental stamina in check and keep the nerves in check, handle the pressure, come back and maybe get a win here in this series and keep yourself in the game, that's a good step forward as a roster, right?
In today's current trading market, buy. That's what Doa's saying. That's right. Buy your Vancouver stonks now.
Yep, that's right. And again, it's almost tournament time. Don't forget the June Joust West Region knockouts starting Sunday. You and I are going to be casting a bit of that, ZP. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be fun. Knockout Sunday. Get to see who goes on to Hawaii this time around as we go again.
That's right.
Vancouver, they do need to win Hollywood because otherwise we have no extra chance at breadsticks. That's right. It needs to happen.
I had a decent sized lunch. It's not going to affect me too much, but I feel for the fans.
Well, it's not for you. You don't even live in Canada, so.
Yeah, you're right. I can't even get it anyway. I have to drive a couple thousand miles for that.
Honestly,
Vancouver
might be worth. But Vancouver, they're just setting up right now. Shock holding back. Decent amount of time bought already. 30 seconds down as Vancouver still figuring out how they want to approach this.
Yeah. Chongsick dropping a little bit low though, but gets healed up. Watching Nero's perspective as he fought the 1v1 with Terror there. Echo v Echo. But yeah, you're right, CB. Vancouver seems a little bit timid approaching this one, but there's a pick. That's what they were looking for. Glister down, and now you've got the 6v5. You can muscle your way onto the point. One tick already. Can they take it?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good spot for Vancouver to be in. As long as they don't give up any stupid picks from here, play around the window, they're good. Shock diving the back line right now. The Immortality Field by Rolf, the savior in the back, but for how long? Nero's still able to get Dalton. Oh, man, the Shock surgically went for the back line, Doa. I'm not sure that's going to be enough, but it gives them the chance to come back in onto the point. And yeah, this is done. The Titans going to have to regroup.
It definitely looks like enough in this particular case to at least push the Titans back to spawn. And yeah, I continue to be impressed. I've watched so many San Francisco Shock games over the years, and obviously watched these players a bunch before the Overwatch League began even, and I'm still impressed at how they can take fights that are looking a little bit rough or looking shorthanded to turn them into wins.
I have to admit, by the way, I thought Dalton had colored his hair blonde. I just now realized that's a baseball cap. I was not looking closely at the player names. But Violet immediately getting ruled off the Flux. The Shock remaining in control, and only about 2 minutes left here for Vancouver. And this, again, a fight they should probably back away from.
Yep, probably. You've got, like you said, 2 minutes remaining. Back off, regroup. And somehow you get Dalton out of there. Oh, no, he gets halted. He goes down. It's just going to take more time for Vancouver, and we saw some life from them on Hanamura, a little bit on the first map on Lijiang Tower, but here's ZP. It looks like they just can't get anything started on Hollywood.
Yeah, and I mean, you also wonder where the morale is because of how Hanamura was so winnable, how even Map 1 was winnable. But this is where if you want to show you can fight against the defending champions, can you dig deep? Can you find something to put yourself over the top? A minute 15 left here for Vancouver. Their ults probably aren't going to get better than where they're at now, Doa. So this attempt probably going to decide whether or not they get to stay here in Hollywood. They're playing it slow.
How much is that point in the window? We're going to find out. Oh, Violet gets Shock already. Gets 2. Everyone getting kills for Shock today.
There is a silver lining. It's a small silver lining, but it's still there. The Shock, they did invest both Supercharger and Duplicate Vancouver. They were able to save their Flux at the very least. So there's still a chance, but it's rapidly decreasing as time goes on.
I mean, it's not really even about point A at this point. I mean, Titans can take point A, and they're just going to have so much less time in the time bank overall that taking that point C, that really difficult to take point for the attackers, is really the trick. Look at this. From the Shock hiding on the flank. Yeah, it's a bit silly, but it works.
It gets worse, though. He also used the Flux, so even if Vancouver did recover in 15 seconds, which actually is not super likely, they don't have the Flux to go with it. So this one, just about done. This is where the Stall Brigade comes out. That's right. Summon your hamsters, summon your monkeys, and die on the point gracefully.
That's just, it's rough to see. Vancouver Titans only able to get the Dragon. The Dragon Strike makes it the point, but that don't count CP, and it's going to be a 3-0 victory for the San Francisco Shock. I do believe it maybe took a little bit longer. I don't think that was exactly a record there, but I mean, we'll find out. I'm sure the desk will know, but that was a rough one for Vancouver. I think they made a show of it. They made a good effort, but in the end, if you come at the champs, you got to be prepared, right?
Yeah, you do. And I mean, look, Vancouver, I think they did bring some good stuff on Map 1, especially Map 2, but unfortunately, they ran out of steam by the time Map 3 ran around. The Shock, they did a few substitutions at the end, didn't slow them down a bit. And the Shock still look very, very good here, Doa, even with the slightly slower start. You take a look at the score. What is it? It's a 3-0. So what more can you really complain about on that? And you'd be like, you didn't beat them hard enough. It's like, it's a 3-0. It's good enough.
Yep, what can you say? Let's talk about our player of the match, though. It's going to be Smurf, and Smurf earned it, man. I mean, he sat out the third map, but he played so well, especially here on map number 1, really saving the day. And like the big one, I believe, this is where he knocks Fire off the map. When Fire had that sound barrier ready to go, you can see it's 99% for the Titans and ZP. This was a map that the Titans could have kept going, but Smurf said, nope, we want the 2-0, we're taking it.
Yeah, I mean, Smurf looks really, really good right now. I mean, I think you'd struggle to find a time where Smurf hasn't looked good, frankly. And also backed up by the rest of the team where you could have given this to multiple people in the Shock, right? FD God had a crazy time. Violet looked very good to bring back Hanamura on the defense. I mean, Striker, of course, coming alive. The Shock team, I feel like anytime you cast them, you're just like, player of the match. Everyone. And just a recurring theme.
Smurf, a well-deserved Xfinity player of the match, and just one of the many reasons why the Shock are so fun to watch, why they are one of the best teams in the league. But it's the expected result, right? At the end of the day, this is kind of what we were thinking was going to happen. This is kind of what everyone was thinking was going to happen. But Vancouver, I got to say, I think especially that Hanamura defense, there is skill there on that team. It's just taken a while to bring it out, and it's just not working out for them so far. It's rough.
Yeah. Also, I think to remember, too, it's tough here in the Overwatch League where these are good players,
right.
But you're going up against the best of the best. And, unfortunately for Vancouver, you can play well up until this point, but being San Francisco Shock, it takes another level of effort.
That's right. We're going to take a break. But when we come back, it is going to be the Washington Justice taking on the Florida Mayhem. The day continues here at the Overwatch League. Do not go anywhere. Lots more action coming up right after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to Game Break presented by Pringles. We're joined now by FD God from San Francisco Shock. Congratulations on your win today, FD God. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's always good to 3-0 someone.
Right, of course. 3-0, a very fast and easy win for you guys. Talking about the win, things weren't really going that good for the San Francisco Shock in the May melee, but you guys are looking a lot better coming into the June Joust. What sort of adjustments have you guys made, have you and the team made coming into the June Joust tournament?
Personally, I think I just did some adjustment about like my mindset and my mental, because I think I had like a bit of a burnout at the beginning, and for the team, I think we just had like good synergy. We keep playing together, and the teammates know how to play together now, and also Kiasa's helped a lot about that.
Okay. All right, nice. My second question for you, FD God, is with your win today, with your win against the Titans today, you guys have made it into the knockout runs now. Is there a team that you wish to play against on Sunday, and your reason?
I think I would like to play against Gladiators again, because it was our very first match, and I kind of want to see how they can do, how we can do against this team and this meta again. And yeah, they're a strong team, so.
Strong team. Hey, Gladiators are a strong team. San Francisco Shock is definitely a strong team as well. I feel like Gladiators versus San Francisco Shock will be a very good match, a very fun match for all the Overwatch League fans. So I'll keep an eye out for that. With that being said, FD God, thank you so much for your time. That is it for the interview, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Danny and FD God. Sorry. Cuddles. Oh God. Cat hair everywhere. That's right. Yeah, let's take a look at the standings. As I'm trying to get Nori off of me. Just in time. I thought the interview was going to take a bit longer. Anyway, let's take a look at the standings to see where we are at now, because once again this match had quite some implications. With this win, the Shock are now officially in the knockout round, and also with this victory from the Shock, that means that the Titans are now officially eliminated out of the June Joust. Bit of a heartbreaker there. There were a lot of moments where, we thought like maybe they can get that map, but like looking at Hanamura, I mean, that one came down to the wire, and it was hard to see. It was really hard to see. Now heading into this match, Costa, at the very beginning, like you didn't predict or ask for a victory from Vancouver Titans, but you did implore the team, like, please play your best. You asked the same of the Shock. Is that what both teams delivered?
I think Shock did a little bit of trolling, as we saw Choi getting a little ambitious with his remake. But for the most part, I think the Shock put their best foot forward. We got to see some cool stuff. Super Count comes into play the Orisa. We might see more of that in the future. But it was just business as usual for the Shock, and that was great to see. For the Vancouver Titans, I think they look much improved to last weekend. As much as they didn't get a map win and the scoreline is deceiving, they held the Shock on Hanamura. And if they capped that first point, that devastating first point missed capture where they were just a hair away from capturing, if they get that, they could have easily snowballed that onto point 2 and gotten a map win. And even on this control, they had great moments. They have a good eye for the meta. They look like they understand what they're supposed to be playing, and they look pretty solid. Not good enough to get over the line for the San Francisco Shock, but much better looks for them, which is all I was asking for. They look much better, they look improved. You love to see it.
And if we're shifting gear now and taking a look at the match at hand coming up, the Florida Mayhem going up against the Washington Justice. I wanna pick your brain here, Reinforce, because heading into this in our pre-show, Costa actually made some arguments for why this could be the Justice's game. However, if we're looking at the numbers, if we're looking at the standings, June Joust was so far not really it for them. They did lose against Paris, they lost against Boston. Have we really been measuring their strength, or got to measure their strength yet?
I don't really feel like we have that, no, Zoe. I feel like if you predict the Washington Justice here to beat Florida Mayhem, it's contingent on them just swapping off their playstyle entirely. We didn't see them play the Echo Reaper Lucio Moira in week 1 when they took their first 2 losses. So maybe they'll change things up. Maybe we'll see them adapt to the meta. Maybe we'll see them play a bit more aggressively, play that rush style. So if the Washington Justice are to win today, it will be on that composition. But that still, even if you play that composition, we need massive step-ups individually from these players. I mean, this is a stacked team that has Fury, Mag, Decay. These are phenomenal players, right? And still, we're a bit shaky. We don't know where do we assess the Washington Justice here. Going into the season, a lot of people had Washington Justice as a top 3 team in the North American region. Well, Florida Mayhem, they should be an easy opponent for a stacked team like this. I think that Florida Mayhem should be a beatable opponent for the Washington Justice, but given the recent results from the Justice, given that they haven't looked like the team we expected them to be, this might be really shaky, and that's why we're all on the desk. We're all predicting the Florida Mayhem, because even though Justice, they have a ton of talent, they haven't lived up to the potential so far, Zoe.
Yeah, but let's see if they can spoil it for the Mayhem today. I think, I mean, I haven't done the math yet, but I think Washington Justice's chances of still making it, that relies on some very in-depth mathematic kind of situation. So things would really have to go a crazy way, and they would need to 3-0 and whatnot. It's very complicated. You won't understand. I certainly don't. However, now it is time for Pringle's bold prediction. Guys, I mean, my prediction got bolder the more the San Francisco Shock trolled. Looking at you here, Choi Hyo-min. We saw what you did there. Costa, how bold are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling a little bold. So we just talked about the chances that Washington Justice make this is incredibly low because they lost all 6 maps earlier in their opening weekend. But the Florida Mayhem, they have a chance. And to get through this, to have a chance, they need to win 3-0 in this match. And my bold prediction is, I think they're going to do it. I actually really do think it's bold to think Washington Justice is good for all the reasons that Johnny said, but this is playoffs Florida Mayhem. We know when their back's against the wall, everything is going against them. BQB, Yaki, they know how to step up. I think they're going to step up 3-0 and keep their June Joust dreams alive.
Costa,
Johnny.
You realize the Paris Eternal already beat them 3-0, right?
Yeah, but
like, it's not a really bold prediction.
No, but they can turn it around. They can turn it around. Yeah. I believe in them. That's why it's bold.
All right.
Why are they whispering, Zoe?
I don't know. They don't want to.
We didn't say anything. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
No, I guess. Sorry.
It's super bold. It's a super bold prediction from Costa, really. Yeah, very bold.
Yeah, I've got to be real with you. Neither of us has ever excelled in bold prediction, except Danny, of course, overshot the target by some leagues, however. So I'm not sure if we can count that one. But yeah, it is time to get that game going. Both teams are fighting to keep their June Joust dreams alive. And who better to cast all the action than... Are we going with Dope now, or Dopey?
Dopey?
I think Dopey. I like Dopey.
It's always been dope here. I can't speak for ZP, but you know, like I said, I'm gonna embrace it. I always have. You know, what can you do?
What can you do?
I mean, it's really something other people decide as it comes down to.
Yeah, that's right. It's really not up to us. You just kind of have to accept what the internet gives you at this point, you know, right? So, but yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, I feel a little bit selfish in saying I'm hoping it's not a 3-0, but you know, Florida kind of needs it. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
This should be a great match.
It should be. Yeah, it should be. A little bit longer lasting than our last one, perhaps. We'll see.
All right.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, goodbye, Desk. It's been great chatting with you, but it's time for ZP and I to take over. That's right. And here we are in our second match at the June Joust Qualifiers presented by Xfinity. And it's time to go into Florida Mayhem versus the Washington Justice. And ZP, what's your read on this one right now? Because Florida won it in May, right, when these two teams met. In fact, it was the last time we saw Decay, which is kind of interesting. But do you think there's a chance this one might be a little bit closer? Florida looking for that 3-0 pretty hard.
I think it's a wild card match. I think if I had to predict what was going on here and you had to say, what do you really think? I'd say it's a toss-up. I think both these teams have immense amounts of talent on their rosters. I think if I had to give an edge to maybe one team, it'd be Florida because they've been consistent in who they've been running roster-wise, whereas like Decay, randomly goes missing. Now Decay is back. But the meta we're playing right now is somewhat of a great equalizer, and it's not clear how every team's going to take to it. Washington could come in here and really defy expectations and take down Florida now that this meta's had a little bit more time to settle. Or Florida could go, actually, we've been playing the same people all tournament long and we've actually gelled, and it's going to be ours. So who knows what to expect here, Noah?
Well, we're going to find out shortly as we get into the games. But these are two teams that I'm really excited that we get to cast because out of the teams in the West region, I guess you could say. These are two of my favorites to watch. Let's take a look at Florida's starting roster and talk a little bit more about that. But there's so much talent on both of these teams on an individual level to enjoy. Yaki, obviously, jumps to mind as just a fantastic hit scan DPS. OG has just been a fun tank to watch for years, right? And even going back to the Slime, one of my absolute favorite Lucios out there. So you've got a lot to look forward to on the Florida side. But again, they're going to really need to bring everything to the utmost, right? If they're going to get that 3-0. I don't think Washington's going to make it too easy for them.
No, definitely not. However, I will say for Florida, they have the best motivation of perhaps any of the other teams around here. And no, it's not just because they need the 3-0 to keep their hopes alive or anything like that. It's that if they get to go to Hawaii, that is a week they get to spend away from Boca Raton, Florida, where the Mayhem are currently located. Whoa. So, I mean, really, if anyone else, they get to, live in the world for a little bit. So, for the Florida, everything is on the line.
Was that a slam on Florida? Do you have something against Florida's EV?
Just Boca Raton. Just Boca Raton.
Oh, all right. I've never been there. Only been to Tallahassee. Anyway, let's take a look at the Washington Justice lineup for today. I teased it a little bit. I gave you a bit of a spoilery thing, but there is Decay. He is back. That's right. And he's a ton of fun to watch. And it's been a little bit of a mystery sometimes about why we don't see him on the roster. But he's back today. Last time we saw him was actually against Florida. So, maybe they're saying Decay is our Florida secret weapon. It didn't work out last time. But, there's always a second time's a charm, right? Bebe looks so happy, by the way. Nobody in the Overwatch League is as ecstatic to have his picture taken for the screen as Bebe is. And that just warms my heart.
Yeah, I mean, you have on one hand, you have people who's like, put me on camera, and then the other hand, people are still out there, writing fan fiction about what Kevster might eventually look like. It's really two ends of the spectrum, all in all. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see players having fun, getting excited. It's a mood you want to be in when you go into a match, one that very well could be one that goes to 5.
I think it could be. I mean, I would also lean towards the predicting Florida Mayhem to win this one. I think it's kind of hard to argue against that point. But I do think this is going to be a little bit closer series than the one we just saw. We're going to start off with Oasis. It's going to be our control map. And we'll get a look at what these teams have in mind for today. Obviously, Control's always, frankly, it's my least favorite map type. It's a little bit chaotic. I like to see teams with more of the set plays on other maps where we have attack and defense. But you do get a good look at sort of where everyone's at as far as the individual skill in a lot of cases, where their heads are at, where their skill is at in the day. And it's a good way to get started.
Yeah, I mean, Control's always sort of the pace setter for the entire match, where it doesn't always reflect how the match will go, but it gives you an idea of what to expect, where the teams might be at, what they might be thinking meta-wise, and, just a few moments, though, we're going to get some answers.
We will indeed. Watch out for traffic.
Yep.
Dude, that's a sharp turn for those cars to be taken. There's no signs there. Like, I know it's the future, and those cars are probably driven by, like, robots or AI or something like that, but that's still a sharp turn. That's a lot of G-forces people are under when they're making that curve.
Yeah, it really is. And but those cars are built tough, Doa. Like, so tough that if you put that car against the Korean War mech loses. And I'm not sure if that says a lot about the car or a lot about the sad state of the Korean national defense budget in the future. Either way.
Could go either way. I mean, they are building mechs, which is pretty cool. But, yeah, Winston lands on the ground. The earth shatters, right? But he gets hit by a car. Not a scratch on the car. Impressive
Very
stuff.
safe. But you take a look at the Justice.
Indeed.
And got mirrors. Lots of mirrors here, Doa, on both sides. So neither team deviating from what many people believe to be the meta, but it's just City Center. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah, Florida Mayhem deciding to take more of a roundabout way to the point, allowing Washington Justice a little bit more of a position. But now they're on either side of the middle pillar anyway. So we'll see who decides to be more of the aggressor. Because, like you were talking about in our last match, ZP, it really is a lot about building those support ultimates, namely the Coalescence early. And Gangnam Jin almost has his. In fact, he does have his right now. Are they going to use this to push ahead? Low health.
Yeah, and this is a pretty sizable advantage, too. In Florida, they're not going to waste much time. Early Cole coming out, Bebe about to have one of his own, and so far Justice are really good. Now they can counter Cole, and it's the Justice that have the advantage in the team fight. Able to push forward into Florida. Gargoyle get it pretty low, able to get out. Slime can't drop the beat in time. Gets killed mid-beat, Doa.
I mean, that's huge. That's so big that they don't have to deal with the shield from the Lucio ultimate. A little bit of Moira dancing. They're dance fighting, but it's still going to be Washington cleaning that up. But yeah, tragedy for Slime as he got killed mid-ultimate cast. And, that's big because you often rely on the shield from the from the Lucio ultimate to carry you through the second half of a lot of these fights, and now they're not going to have it. Meanwhile, Closer does have his. You can see just using it at low health, and that's always a risk, man. If you are a Lucio player out there, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to actually hit the ground and make the ult happen.
It's an awful hit to Ulticon because now the Justice, they can just beat without caring. Go, yeah, we're going to beat, we're going to roll into you. However, you still need to eliminate or get eliminations as a result. They're able to get OG, so it's not as clean of a dive in. They lose their Moira, but the Justice are still in a good spot as Decay gets the just walk.
I mean, Yaki gets the remet kill onto Bebe, which is always one of my favorite things in Overwatch. You know, in my mind, that should be worth a couple breadsticks. I know we're not casting Vancouver, but hey, just think about it. Breadsticks for a D.Va remet kill? Yeah, it's a good idea.
You're talking to a hungry audience right now, which is good. Yeah. You get to be hungry for a lot more Overwatch right now, but it's still not breadsticks. It might never be breadsticks,
not this time.
The way things are going.
BQB trying to bring the ult to the opponents, and he will. Yeah, just teleports right in their faces with the Death Blossom. It's going to be Slime, though, picking up the first kill of this fight on the Mag.
Decent amount of damage being done. Fury, though, countering the bomb out. The Justice still going to try and hang on. Assassin getting the remake. And here we go. Drops the bomb. The Justice look to keep control. Decay rolled around. Yep, Gangnam Jin on the side. Both teams, though, down to Moira off the self-destruct. And this is still good for the Justice, though, because even if they lose the fight, they should be able to bring this to 99%. And even better, they're probably not even going to lose the fight.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit scrappy, but it looks like they're going to continue holding the point. And Florida Mayhem now starting to feel a little bit afraid, because even if they do manage to retake the point, Washington would be in what we call one-fight territory, which is where they only need to win one little tussle to be able to retake and capture the point completely for that round. Overtime ticking already. Here comes Florida.
Florida, last opportunity to swap things around here on City Center. The Justice just backing out a little bit, giving Mag some time to build up the Primal. Now the beat comes in response to self-destruct. Beat just about down. Florida Mayhem pushing in with a beat of their own. Justice in a little bit of trouble. Now they go, it's time, Mag. Use the Primal with weight at Decay. A helicopter from above crashes unceremoniously in flames. And now a much better helicopter on the other side as the Florida Mayhem get back in on the point. Still a long way to go.
Yeah, they flip it. They're going to flip it here. BQB saying to Decay, here, let me show you how you drop off the top rope is Reaper, and he manages to get a bunch with that Death Blossom. You know, Florida, to their credit, they were ready for Decay. You know, I thought maybe as Slime's beat was dropping off and that shield was going away, Decay would have an opportunity, but Florida was just so ready for that, and that's going to give them a chance to get some percentage of their own building. But again, like we talked about earlier, Washington just needs to win one battle and they'll take the round.
Easier said than done sometimes in City Center. If there's any map where you can just hang around forever, it is this one. However, early D.Va clone going to come out here for the Justice. Fury holding his bomb in reserve. Florida going, OG, do you have Primal yet? Please, it's time. Move in. And Yaki down before the Prowl can even come out. Self-destruct from Assassin in over the top. Gargoyle's self-destruct, though, gets two. Mag and Fury both out of the fight. Fury couldn't remech. And the Mayhem still alive here, Doa, but losing the Moira, that makes it real tough.
These fights, man, it's just like, hey, you get a D.Va mech kill, you get a self-destruct kill, you get a self-destruct kill, and yeah, OG is going to take a short trip to the afterlife, maybe. I don't know. There goes Slime. Yep. Another coalescence for Bebe as they try to close it out. They have retaken, and it looks like they're going to get the point, CP.
Yeah, the Justice just about there. What has been only round one, by the way. This is only round one in map one. But you go City Center, you go this meta. It lasts a long time, even as you see the world's most destructive fireworks show with D.Va exploding every 2 seconds.
Yep, pretty much. The mech budget in the South Korean government certainly stretched thin in this meta. A lot of mechs getting called down.
It all makes sense, though, as to why it would lose to the car. Why would you make something sturdy if you're just going to continually blow it up? They're built to self-destruct. That's it. They're not built to actually be good protection for the person inside.
Very strong cardboard. That's what we make them out of in the future. Yeah.
Yep.
It's biodegradable as well, so you know. Hey, are you learning anything in this class, ZP?
Well, I see. You know, I'm looking at that and I'm learning that is, you know, it might be time to buy in the middle. There is what I'm seeing there. That's
What's the purpose of that robot, by the way? Is it just like looking for overdue books? It's like, oh man, someone hasn't returned like the Odyssey. Terminate. It's a harsh library, maybe. Here we go. Washington Justice with 1 point up here on Oasis.
Well, and the Justice not going to waste any time taking the fight to the Mayhem. Mayhem, though, trying to rotate around the corner. Both teams trade back and forth, both healed up. Assassin, a little bit low on the side. Decay, getting focus fired, able to get out. Mayhem, though, going to use this poke pressure to move in. Mag getting very low on Assassin. Able to find OG as Florida overextends a little bit, though. And now Washington with the man advantage if they can get healed up. That's what they're trying to do right now. Back up a little bit, heal, move back in, and that's it. They have the 6v5 in Florida. They have to back out.
Yeah, somebody should stay on the point. There we go. Like, all right, chasing Florida a little bit there to make sure they had the coalescence. But now Florida running right back in, and with Slime's beat, if he can get off this time, maybe, just maybe. They look pretty scattered, though. Mag's getting a pretty good Primal Rage here, and yeah, there goes Gangnam Jin.
Yeah, and that's tough. Losing your Moira like that, you can't go in the floor. It's going to delay things even more. BQB dropping a Death Blossom, and it happened somewhere in the fight. It didn't do much. We're watching Assassin jump around.
Yeah. All right, well.
Goodbye to
Yaki.
Got him.
With the left click from downtown. Not bad. Nice finishing move there from Assassin. Fury decides to hop off and rejoin his team a little bit sooner, perhaps. He's got the ultimate available. So Florida, if they rush the point right now, maybe again they can get something done with Slime's sound barrier.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you go in for the aggro beat. You have to assume McColl's up. It's not up yet, but from their information, you probably have to think it is. Gargoyle already getting heavily focused. OG moving in. Beat out early. Primal, but even with the Primal, OG is just getting ripped to shreds. Almost no HP left on OG. Gonna have to bounce back. Washington, meanwhile, they drop their coal, bring the pressure over the Mayhem. Bomb out from Gargoyle. Does it get anything? No, not just yet. Both teams still at 6, but the Mayhem using a lot there, Doa. Not enough to get any elimination. The Justice about to have a Primal of their own.
Yeah. Washington really weathering the storm well there, and they've got Florida Mayhem on the run. Here comes Decay from the top again, looking for kills with that Death Blossom. Doesn't find anything, but he does force the Florida Mayhem back to the point where they're able to isolate Gargoyle and take him out. It's not looking good for Florida here, ZP.
No, not at all. Also, not for my friends. I think I had Florida as a 3-1 here, so clearly this is just the one. You take a look at it.
Sure.
There's no chance of delay. It's not quite over yet, but it's the door's nearly closed. We'll see if anything happens from this final push. OG off to the ball, rolls in, starts the overtime. The self-destruct about to be ready on deck for the Justice. The cloned Diva, good to go. Cloned Reaper out for the Mayhem as they're looking for the miracle. The beat is out, and there's this Death Blossom over and in for BQB. Gets Decay. There's still a little bit of hope here, Doa.
Sure is. I mean, they got one, but now Gangnam Jin falling there from Bebe. So it's a 5v5, but the no Moira on the side of Florida is going to really hurt. And yeah, they're going to start to lose people. BQB going down. Assassin just playing it safe on the side of that fight. Oh, maybe not so safe as OG shows up with the ball.
OG's just rolling around going, please, will this work? I don't know. I'm just a hamster, man. What's going on? But it could be enough for Florida. This was an emergency push. They had to go in scattered, and they're starting to take control of the fight. Yaki in the back, focusing beam, finds Mag. And the Mayhem still alive, just barely.
I think I want a Wrecking Ball shirt that just has the hamster on it. It just says, "I'm just a hamster, man." I like that.
It go well with your Becca Nancy shirt.
There you go. That's right. Yaki, he's going to have the echo here when Washington pushes. So a little bit of can use it in a defensive way now, but I'm looking at the beats. I'm looking at those sound barriers for our two Lucios. And Slime has hits, so maybe a way for Florida to keep this going, but we'll see Bebe coming in with the coalescence.
Cole is just setting the stage. Mag is down early, and now where's Decay in this? Is there going to be any equalizer? Bomb over the top, down goes Assassin, and if you're the Justice, you just back out. No more resources left to go as Yaki comes alive.
You know, this is a hard point to retake sometimes, and it's pretty often. I feel like all the points on Oasis we see go to 99, 99 a lot of times. And it's just because they've got a lot of really good defensive angles to hold. And if you've got a couple tools to utilize with that, it becomes difficult to retake. 58%, 60 now for Florida.
Don't forget all this. Florida, they really need the 3-0 for most of their playoff scenarios, so they're fighting arguably to just stay in the June Joust. Here and now, 68%. Colin from Gangnam in the back. Death Blossom though from Decay, catches Slime. It's just one, but it might be all he needs. And look at the Florida Mayhem's health, Doa. They are shattered across the board as the Justice get on the point.
look at Slime's ultimate percentage, right? It was full. He had the sound barrier when he died. Another devastating death for Lucio here in our matches that we've been casting today. And Washington, I was going to say, going to try to take advantage, but Gargoyle says no. 2 with the self-destruct. Maybe Florida can bring it back.
Florida saying, no, we will not go down just yet. We want to try and go
Yaki.
for the 3-0 Fury down. Yaki blasting away. Oh, he's looking for it, Doa. 2 seconds left.
Yep.
Nah,
Yes.
not gonna happen. But now it's one-fight territory. Florida have clawed their way back in. This is winnable.
Certainly is, and like you mentioned earlier, ZP, Florida not just trying to win this map, but they're trying to keep their June Joust hopes alive in order to make it to the tournament. They got a 3-0 today.
Yeah, and here we go. OG
There we go.
dropping the mines, going in, setting the stage on the ball. And Mag super low, Mag down. I think he got pushed into a mine, I'm not sure, but Gargoyle was able to finish him off. Now 6v5 for the Mayhem. They got the Cole up. They're looking to take the round here, Doa. They just need a little bit more. The take
They got it.
Justice is gone, and this is just about wrapped up.
I think they got everything they needed, ZP. We'll see. Assassin still has a little bit of juice left in the copy. A little bit more for the self-destruct. Not able to find anything with it. And Florida Mayhem just trying to push the rest of Washington off the point. But you know, BQB dropping, and we could see another heartbreaker map here as it looks like Washington retakes. Ooh, now they've got it. They've got a chance to end this map right here, but here comes the beat.
Beat comes out, didn't hit Yaki though. Yaki's the only DPS still in. BKB is still respawning. Decay spinning. Is it going to catch anything? Gargoyle down.
It does.
And this time, Gargoyle can't be the hero. Gargoyle can't come in with the bomb.
Wow.
And no, the Justice rebound, deny the Florida Mayhem. And I think technically, Doa, they're not totally out of it, but now they have to hope that Vancouver beats the Fuel, I think, is the situation. So they might just be
That's a tall
out of it.
order. That's a tough one, ZP. But either way, yeah, Florida, I mean, obviously they still want to win this match if they can, but that is not the start they were looking for. As Washington Justice able to get the 2-0 on Oasis to get a point on the board here, get a map win. And remember, Washington, to a certain extent, still fighting for their place to possibly go into the June Joust tournament as well. If they win, you know, they still have got a little bit of a chance, I believe, without looking at every single permutation. Either way, exciting match ahead of us. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if Florida Mayhem can tie it up. Don't go anywhere. This is the Overwatch League.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League. Washington Justice getting the win there on Oasis, our control map at the beginning. Florida Mayhem, of course, looking for that 3-0, and so now they still can stay in the hunt for the June Joust with a win, but their fate is not going to be entirely in their hands. It's a rough road ahead, ZP, but both of these teams, the only thing that is for sure is if you lose, then you definitely don't have any chance.
Yep, that is the for sure thing, which means that we could be in a situation where Florida could go, yeah, we might need a lot of luck to still get in, but you know what, Washington? We could ruin your chances. You could sink to the bottom of the ocean with us. We'll take you down with us. Could be the mindset they're in, but I think for Florida, they just want to try and rebound the series and hope that everything falls in their favor as they try and qualify.
As we take a look at our Xfinity map leaderboard, we do see that on this map, these teams have some history. In fact, it was Florida Mayhem setting one of the records for Temple of Anubis on attack back in 2020, just last year, with 5:18 remaining in the time bank. So Mayhem's been speedrunning this map against Washington in the past, and so this is the kind of map they need, ZP, I think, to get back into the game, get the mentality back where they need to get it.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to go down 2 maps in Overwatch. Yeah, reverse sweeps happen, but they don't happen that often. Usually, you go down 2 maps, you're looking at a 3-1 at best. So this is definitely the map for Florida, the rebound, if they want to keep their June Joust hopes alive, however slim they might be. Whereas for the Justice, you don't want to play around. The last thing you want to do against a team like the Mayhem is give them any road back into the series. You take Anubis down now and do everything in your power to secure your victory.
Exactly. Time for the teams to roll out, on the defense at least. And Florida Mayhem looking like a pretty standard defense for our June Joust meta for sure. Washington Justice, we'll see what they decide to find out. Looks like Decay may be considering taking a shot or two before he swaps over to what he'll probably be playing.
Yeah, I would
Never
say
know.
this is probably going to be the classic peek out, look for a shot, go back in.
Oh, yeah.
Swap something like Reaper. From the rest of what the Justice is showing right now, that seems to be the most likely. But hey, it's attack. They could still swap up, Doa. They have that ability.
Yep. I always worry about Reaper. He runs around with his guns like straight out in front of him. Like, that's got to make it hard to go around doors. Like when he's walking around his apartment or something, he's going to be constantly like running into things. It'd be really annoying. Because he never sets it down.
Also grumbling about everything all the time would not be a good roommate. He's the guy where it's just like, you've left the toilet seat up again. And just grumbling.
How do you raise it when you're holding guns in your hands like that?
It's true.
The porcelain's so slippery.
Yeah. The day-to-day life of Reaper that you never knew, right here at the Overwatch League as the
How
Justice.
can I eat this bowl of cereal?
Here we go, Florida Mayhem trying to keep the Washington Justice bottled up here. And they've got Yaki. Ooh, the beam does it. Mag going down. And, if there's anything with Washington Justice, it does feel like they're losing Mag kind of early in some of these fights. So perhaps a little bit safer positioning, perhaps a little bit more tank protection is in order for the Winston.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that is also Yaki just seizing those opportunities immediately. Not to be undersaid, though, Assassin got a lot of damage in there also, so it's about to be a triple tank game, Doa, before you can even blink. Both echoes just about online, and we'll see what this does for the second fight.
Yeah. Assassin with the Echo Ultimate. And like you said, the coalescences on both sides. It's going to make a big difference coming out from Bebe a little bit earlier, going on both sides. Don't cross the beams. Haven't you ever watched Ghostbusters?
Oh, they're crossing Doa. The beams are slashing through each other to no effect. And the bomb coming out here from Assassin and the remake. Justice trying to break through. Beam has already used by Slime. The Mayhem still pretty healthy on the whole. And not healthy for long. Decay finding the moment, spinning on in. And that should be point A for the Justice.
Indeed. Decay gets the ult and gets the damage done for the rest of the team to clean up. And yeah, I know it's crossing the streams on Ghostbusters, by the way. It's similar. It's just accepted. Washington Justice, though, going to be able to take this point A, and this is pretty fast. They're going to have a good amount of time in the time bank, and Florida Mayhem, if we look at their ult percentages right now, they've got a bit, but it's going to be tricky. Let's watch that replay from Decay again.
The good old IBM replay. Decay goes, I guess this is a good time to spin. And it was.
Yeah.
It really was.
Saw a lot of half-health people. Knew we could get something done.
So, Justice now trying to make the most of their momentum. Strike when the iron is hot. Another Cole coming out. Of course, answered by Cole on the other side. The beams clashing once more. Decay, though, got OG super early in the fight, Doa. Yaki firing back. Still being down to take a problem for the Mayhem as they try and keep presence on the point. They've already given up one tick. BQB, though, time to go. Into the back. Death Blossom ready. Starts spinning. Booped back.
Well,
Matrixed. Not much happens. However, the Justice gonna go back a little bit here, Doa. Wait for a full 6, head back in.
I think so, and I think Washington can do this pretty leisurely here. But now the problem is they're going to run into some ultimates on the other side. So it's back to that old game of how do you get them to dedicate resources they don't want to dedicate in terms of ultimates, save your own at the same time. You know, so you might see a bit of a soft push coming in first to try to draw that out. Maybe. Well, then again, if Decay thinks he's got an opportunity, but he gets booped and he doesn't get the angle with the Death Blossom.
Yeah, it gets booped and put into the microwave. Just the standard Reaper operate procedure. Another Cole coming out from Gangnam Jin, right down Broad Street, answered by Cole from Bebe. The beams just continuing to go, but Yaki not in the beam that time, taken down by Fury. The Justice with 2 pickoffs, Doa, now rolling onto the point, and what should be an incredible opportunity so long as no one falls.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes ZP, you use some of your resources to get them to dedicate more, and it looks like Washington Justice coming out ahead on that one. Now Decay's had time to build another Death Blossom up. Florida in a last-ditch effort to try to defend this point. They got the May out, too.
84.4%. Decay again spinning. Every time you see this man, it's spin. Doa goes slime out of the fight. The Justice were just trying to clean this up, stop the stall, and how much longer can the Mayhem delay?
We'll see. I mean, they do got the faster respawns, but Washington Justice just seems to be handling them as they come in fairly easily. OG swapping back to the Winston, was on the ball for just a moment. Gargoyle getting demeked, though, and Washington getting closer and closer, 93% now.
Super close. OG, though, gets back onto the point. Hog can be annoying to displace. Sometimes you got to move him by force, rustle him out of there. And now Assassin in the back takes down BQB. This has been incredible stall from the Mayhem, but surely it needs to end soon, Doa. And there it is.
All right, well, Washington Justice gets the job done. 2:23 on the time bank. Certainly not a record. Yeah, one more Death Blossom. Just one more. What were there, like 5 or 6 in that fight total? But either way, Justice gets the second point taken. They will get 2 points up on the scoreboard, and now it's on Florida to try to match this. Remember, they do have one of the records in terms of winning this on attack, and they got that record versus the Washington Justice last year. So there's a little bit of history, but different players, different era, different hero pool. It's a different time, ZP, so I don't know if we can really count on history if we're wanting to look for a Florida Mayhem success here.
Yeah, I might be wrong because it all blurs together at some point, but I'm also sure, like, back at that time, Reaper was not something you saw for the most part. Just a hero that did not exist. Certainly not getting played to the degree you're seeing now. Very different meta and situation as you laid out.
I think you're right.
But now, the Justice, they go to the defense, Doa, holding back a very formidable 2-minute and 23-second time bank. And for the Mayhem, you know, again, they're not out of the series should they lose Anubis, but you don't want to go down that road. This is where you have to mount a response.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, absolutely. You at least have to take that second point. You don't want to allow Washington to go up 2-0 in this series. Yep, good to get some net climbing exercise going. You know, it's hard to work to climb some of those nets. That's a full body workout.
Yeah, strains you out before you actually go through the choke point and you're actually getting shot.
No, it warms you up. Just getting those muscles warmed up, ZP.
Yeah, true. I mean, you're heading into actual death, protected only by microwave. So whatever you got to do, I suppose. The Mayhem, though, they've gone through the first hurdle here, Doa, and now the Justice await them here on the high ground, and the Justice actually They spread out a little bit in this defense as the Mayhem try and loop around the other side. So far, successfully, Gangnam Jin a little bit low, able to shake the pressure.
Yeah, so far so good. Florida Mayhem managed to make it through the initial choke, and now they can just kind of sit up there, poke a little bit, build a couple ultimates. Gangnam Jin really close to that coalescence already. And he's got it. All right, it's the go button.
And
it's
of course,
time.
Justice, they don't really have a lot to deal with this year. They went with the non-mirror comp, but the Florida Mayhem, they need to get something out of this while the coal is up or they're at disadvantage. Get Bebe out of the fight. That's what they were looking for, Doa. Gangnam Jin getting super low, healed back up. The Mayhem now at a full 6, and no resurrection has come in, so it is a secured advantage. And the Justice, now they looked at Decay going, is Bob ready? Can we make it a sort of a 6v6? OG out of the fight. And Decay's down. Yaki finds him.
Yeah, kills on both sides here. Decay does get Bob out, but gets taken down real fast. Bob just on the point right now, wondering where the Ash is. May drops the drums. Florida Mayhem still threatening from above, though.
This is a win for the Justice so far. They should be able to re-establish. Yeah,
they're delaying a good amount. Decay should be back in a moment. Another coalescence from Gangnam Jin.
Cole comes out. BQB, though, able to take down Fury early. Both teams trying out. Decay unleashed here. Now on the Reaper. Went for the hero swap after the last fight.
Wow, Gangnam Jin right now barely keeping his tanks alive.
Yeah, but at the same note, the Justice were able to res Fury back into the fight, and they're getting so much delay, Doa. 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah. I mean, this is huge. Again, like it's all about restricting the amount of time your opponents have to complete point B, right? It's not even about getting that full hold in point A. Florida Mayhem coming in with the beat now. We'll see if they can finally get it done.
Well, Closer is out of the fight early. This is far more decisive for the Mayhem. Everyone's still alive. OG had to burn the Primal, but well worth. Unless this bomb gets everyone. And no, Slime is not everyone. It shouldn't be enough, though. This should be Florida's point.
Yeah, I think so. I think Assassin getting a morale victory by getting the remake kill always makes me feel good when I'm playing.
Okay, I say, Florida, just head over, deal with Decay. Like if Washington comes back after losing just about everyone, I don't even know what to say. Like, just okay.
It looks like they're not going to push it, but it is a couple more seconds taken off the time bank. You know, every little bit counts, and Decay got out of there with his life, so certainly worth. 4 minutes now for Florida Mayhem to take point B.
Yep, a decent amount of time, but they also have to go fast here, given the fact that Justice got through fast on their own attack. The Justice
got a lot else to do it, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, already coming in off the flank. Not a lot of fear, Doa.
Florida Mayhem flush with power, as they've got a lot to use in this fight. If they go right now, they got to go right now to use that. The window
Yaki's down immediately.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
He got caught. I think he just went out the door and Decay just said hello with a shotgun. Immediately removed from the fight. There's no duplicate, no support, no flank. What a play by Decay. I'd love to see what just happened there because Yaki just got crushed.
Oh, and now speaking of Decay, well, how about a delay? Gargoyle, tries to go for the remake, can't get back in it in time. That's just going to be a really nice stagger for the Washington Justice. And the best part about this for the Justice is now that ult disparity that we saw doesn't exist anymore. They're going to be relatively even when the next fight happens. No support ultimates on either side, but Baby's going to get his very quickly, so Justice even with a bit of an edge there. So what was a scary push to deal with is now a little bit, run-of-the-mill as far as this defense goes.
Yeah, it's a lot more even. The Mayhem, they're not coming in with any sort of advantage they had before. Still very winnable, but now they have to go, okay, the Supercharge is down, we're going to respect that. We're going to drop the bomb in from Gargoyle early. They hope it catches something. Just gets us a Supercharger. And now, we're looking for the entry. BQB going over, starts spinning. Looks decent to begin with, but a lot is nullified. Meanwhile, Decay was able to get to the back. Got OG. The bomb from Fury comes out. And that's another hold for the Justice.
Yeah, certainly will be, and you can see from the time bank that already Washington is going to come out of this better as far as the numbers go. Even if Florida are able to come back and capture the point, they are going to have both support ultimates to do it with, so maybe there's a window there. They're also going to have OG's Primal Rage. Now, the question is, they've struggled a little bit getting in there and keeping everybody alive for the fight to be executed properly. So it's not only just getting onto the point, it's doing it safely, doing it as a unit. They're going to try right now. I like going around the right side here. Oh, but Decay is waiting. He's nearly got the ult.
He's got the spin. He got Yaki again. Oh, Oh, the spin with 3, and what a sneaky spot from Decay there, where you're just. I love it, Don. You're saying I was like, Florida needs to be calm. They need to go in as a team. They, everything's going to plan, and then Decay just sitting there going, "Hello, how are you?"
Another big stall on Gargoyle as well. Not even going to try to remake here. They're going to finish him off? Yes, they do. That's heartbreaking. So annoying to deal with if you're the D.Va player here. And they still got that sound barrier on the Florida side at least, but what they don't have is time. 1 minute remaining now.
Yeah, and also this puts it into a moment where even if Florida is able to cap the point, unless it's super decisive, they don't get another attack door. They're playing for the draw, which never feels great.
I really love watching Decay play Reaper. He's been so sneaky. He's been so effective. His timings have been really good with the Death Blossoms. I'm glad he's back. Here comes Assassin, though. Going to turn into his own Reaper.
Yeah, sometimes the best thing, better than 1 shotgun guy, is 2 shotgun guys. Assassin going to the back going, yeah, that spinny thing seems pretty cool. I'd love to give it a shot. Here we go. Down, over, and in. And, well, that's
good
D.Va.
bubble. Yeah, good bubble, though. Good shield. Good response by the tanks on Florida to keep them safe against that. But that wasn't the real Reaper. The real
that
one.
wasn't the helicopter. It's not
That's
the
right, the
helicopter
real
you got to
one's
worry
lurking.
about, Doa. It's not a Decay-class battleship.
That's right. They're like Velociraptors, man. It's the one on the side you never even knew was there. Here comes Yaki, though.
Yaki's going on
Reaper
in.
Fever. Ooh,
Decay's down.
Okay.
There will be no
Decay's
crazy
down.
flank this time. And here come the Mayhem. Florida, though, in a bit of trouble. Fury was able to get one off the bomb, and they still have a way to go.
We're into OT. Washington Justice. If they can defend right here, they can win the map. A tick taken for Florida, though, as they try to muscle their way in here. And there goes Assassin. Decay's back.
Back into the fray. He almost has Death Blossom. He's spinning again. Got one. Good enough. Good enough, though. At least he can take there. Is absolutely tragic for Florida, as right now they're trying to do anything for the draw, but they might not even get the chance.
Well, they just had the remake on, or the DMAC rather, on the D.Va. OG swapping over to the Hammond, but that overtime bar is ticking so fast, and Washington Justice makes it a 2-0 lead in the series.
And, we talked about it in cast just a moment ago, but gotta give it up for Decay with the sneaky Reaper positionings, where multiple times Yaki ran into a brick wall, and surprising a hero with free flight, Doa, as a Reaper where you're kind of stuck on the ground, harder than you might think.
Yeah, we can see the play of the game on our